Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. This episode of Welcome Home is brought to you by DVC Resale Market. Thank you for joining us on episode 268 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom, here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
It's almost actually 300, by episode number.
I mean, we're getting there. Oh, well, could you mean by
There's all
including
episodes.
golden buttons and wait lists? And
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's fair. It's a lot of episodes.
It's a lot of episodes.
I almost just got, by the way, before I came on here with you guys, I almost just got fooled by the internet, and this is a Disney-related thing in a way. Mm-hmm. I don't know if any of you guys saw this, but there's a video floating around of the end of the Disney drone show with...
Yes, I saw this one.
So you saw it. And I don't know how many people even get this reference out there, because I said this to my wife, and she goes, I don't know what you're talking about. So,
That's deep internet culture, yes.
It really is. So, I mean, what was that? Late 90s, early 2000s was, the site Homestar Runner was really popular, and there was a character, called Trogdor, and he was, it's a big dragon character, right? And there was a thing on the internet floating around that, that he shows up at the end of the Disney drone show, and I saw it, and I was like, that looks too good to be fake, but there's no way that Disney put Trogdor at the end of their drone show.
That would be wild if they did. I mean,
right?
That is like somebody's getting fired.
And then some people are like, some of the posts are saying it's like a hack or something, and I'm just like, I don't think that's true either. And then, but I think it's just good VFX is really what it is. But
yeah.
Sorry for a random reference if you don't know what I'm talking about. But it actually does have a Disney connection besides the drone show too, because the guys that did Homestar Runner were also wrote for Gravity Falls and for some of the Mickey Mouse shorts. So they're actually, integrated with Disney. So it's not all that far-fetched, I guess.
I want to go on a Gravity Falls tangent here. First of all, the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Gravity Falls gear is ridiculous, and I'm upset. It's so good that
you want to go?
I don't want to go. I've been to too many Comic-Cons anyway. I don't want to go, but I feel like I might actually have to eBay this stuff. That's as crazy, and it's going to be ridiculous.
It's going to be crazy.
Sure.
Yeah, because I'm sure if it's exclusive stuff, then it's gonna be crazy.
But it's so good. They have a Mabel and Dipper plush, official, right? And then they have some Doorables, which I don't even know what they are. There's some little toys. They're just so cool. I don't know. If anyone's going, let me know.
Yeah, I have not seen that, but I'll have to check that out. But yeah. So that's funny that we're starting the show with Gravity Falls and Trogdor references. Trevor, I actually had a Trogdor shirt when I was in high school. I don't know I don't know where I got it from, but it was a big thing at that point.
Yeah, absolutely. Same for me. Is we were always watching Strong Bad emails and stuff. So yeah, it's funny that somebody decided to work that into the Disney drone show, which, like you said, it looks too good to be true.
It looks too real. They did a really good job on it, whoever did it. Yeah, it looks legit, but I also know it's that's not real. It can't be real. But
I guess the hard part with that, it brings up a good point that, it's very easy. Drone shows are actually very easy to fake, I guess.
Yeah.
Because, it's a black backdrop with light points, basically. So I guess anybody who's relatively decent at Photoshop could do whatever they want for a drone show, which begs the question of, people say, you don't have to go watch these shows. You could just watch it on YouTube. But, I wonder,
who knows what's real anymore?
Yeah. I wonder, would you put it past Disney to do a highly produced version of a drone show that looks, and I'm using air quotes with my fingers, perfect, just for the sake of a YouTube video, right? It brings up an interesting point, even though, obviously, a Trogdor reference is hilarious, but, something to think about.
By the way, if you don't know the reference we're talking about, Google it. I think it's probably still funny. I don't know. I haven't watched it in a long time, but I'm sure it's probably still funny.
It is. I have introduced my son to Homestar Runner.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I made him watch some
emails.
Yeah. And actually, I made him watch the commercial where, I don't know if you remember the one where Homestar does the Fluffy Puff marshmallows.
Of course, yeah.
So I made him watch that, and he kind of was like, and actually, to be fair, he was, I think, like 12 at the time when I got him to watch it, and he was like, "Why is this funny?"
So, oh, really? You didn't get it? Okay.
Well, yeah, which I mean, I think it speaks to, things have changed over time, and kids are into different things. I might revisit it with him now, but it's interesting. Like you said, it's still funny to us because it was a thing, at an earlier point in our lives, but that doesn't mean that our kids will enjoy it.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, it was, like you said, it's like fairly deep in internet culture, but it was like one of those things like when Strong Bad had a new email came out, you were like, talk to your friends about it, that knew, it was like, it was a thing. So it's so I wonder how many people in our audience actually know this reference, but
I'm sure we'll hear
find out.
Yeah.
Anyway, so let's start off with our review of the week. So this is from somebody that obviously made up a new username on the spot called nickname 123456789123456. So
no, you got it wrong.
12456. I'm sorry.
There you go. Yeah, you got to be careful.
Read it too fast.
1234556 is going to get mad if you misquote that.
That's a good point. So this one is titled "Two Good Dudes and One Canuck." Okay, I don't know if you're offended by this or not. Just
why would I be offended by that?
I don't know. He's just singling you out, and he's not calling you a good dude. You're not in the good dude category.
I mean, Canucks are generally referred to as chill and
that's
all
fair.
That. So
that's fair. So it's just three guys talking Disney, sharing opinions and having fun. Love all you three. Love you all three. Wish we could get more time with Damon as a father of three kids. Get it and applaud his commitment to family. P.S. More food, please. I thought that this was a Damon Burner account until they said more food, please.
There's never any Damon Burner accounts. I don't understand. Like, they just don't exist.
It's a running joke now. I don't have burner accounts either. I mean,
Tom definitely has burner accounts.
I do not.
I don't feel like I have burner.
I absolutely do not.
I don't know. I feel like
the secret is both of you don't know that I'm the one with the burner accounts.
Trevor's got lots of burner accounts.
It's going to get worse before it gets better. I hate to say it, but come September, I don't know, man. Like,
I'm going to be out for a while.
Busy. I mean, I don't know. I'm going to have two kids in college going to soccer and swim across the country, and then my daughter's going to be playing tennis. Like, I don't envision a lot of downtime. Let's say that, but I do foresee a future though, where I'm doing Welcome Home, Golden Buttons, and then The Traveling Rhubarb, which will be interesting. So
what exactly is that?
The Traveling Rhubarb is going to be a travel show, I feel like.
You're just going to do a travel show?
I don't know. Maybe.
It just like it's one-offs?
Yeah, as you're traveling around with your kids to all these meets?
Maybe. I'm not sure yet. I feel like it's more of maybe a retirement show. I haven't decided yet. I don't know. I saw that there was like a new place in Florida, the Evermore, and it looked really cool. And I'm like, man, like, I'd like to cover that sort of stuff. I don't know. Okay. I want to be doing like 3 podcasts, 4 podcasts. I don't know, maybe 6 podcasts. Who knows?
It feels like a lot of podcasts.
Yeah, it kind of does. I find though that when I can do them on like Golden Buttons is great. Like I can just do it whenever I feel like it. It makes it a lot easier when you don't have to coordinate with other people. Like not in a bad way, just
no. It's challenging to coordinate with people. Yeah.
It's hard when we've said it before. The 3 of us finding time for this sometimes is a challenge, right? Because we all have different schedules.
But I am excited. I think we're still going to get Matt from Royal Caribbean blog. He just there was a problem, which is fine, and then he ended up being on a cruise. So hopefully next week. I'm excited for that comparison between Royal Caribbean and Disney.
That'll be interesting. Yeah.
I keep flip-flopping back and forth because I'm like, I'm definitely booking a Royal Caribbean next year, but I see all this Universal stuff, but still no specific date, and I just don't know what to do. I mean, our Disney placeholders for 2 years, which is nice. I like that they do it for 24 months.
Yeah, that's
so good. Yeah. So I mean, that 10%. I mean, and when you think about it, in theory, that 10% gets more valuable every year. I mean, I don't know if that in real financials, it doesn't make a lot of sense, but in my head, that makes a lot of sense.
It doesn't, but yeah, it makes sense in your head. Okay, so Let's start talking. We haven't done questions in a while, and so
usually the questions are bad.
I like
these good questions this time.
Yeah, I like these questions. You don't like these questions?
I didn't see them. I didn't even look them. Actually, so I have 2 monitors going, but I think that my audio should be better. I have a whole different audio setup here going.
Sound good. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is, but I can't see my second monitor. So there's that.
That's a bit of a problem. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Alexis asked, with Food and Wine around the corner, recklessly speculate on what comes back to make use of the Communicore Hall. If you could pick from pre-COVID food and wine events to bring back, like celebrity chefs, tasting seminars, etc., what would you like to see? And then she gave us very nicely a link to
the 2018 Food and Wine Festival,
which is helpful because I don't remember everything. So
yeah, I mean that was an eternity ago.
Yeah, it was. It was. So, this is helpful. But I mean, part of, the reason why they built that, right, was as a flex space for Food and Wine and for the other festivals, right? So, I mean, there's a lot they can do with that. I personally, I like the whole idea of the celebrity chef stuff. I like the cooking demonstrations that I've seen in the past. Those are pretty cool. Like you mentioned, the tasting seminars are cool too. But there's a lot of things I think that could definitely make a comeback. I'll be interested to see what they announce.
Yeah. I mean, it's looking back at this link that we were provided, like you said, the celebrity chef stuff seems good and all. The thing I have to wonder, just looking at the booths, I'm really wondering, like you said, because this is supposed to be a flex space, I'm wondering how many of the booths are going to eventually migrate to this space instead of them being spread all around World Showcase. But
I would be surprised by that because I think part of the charm is them being spread all around, World Showcase.
Yeah, but that's a lot of walking, though.
So what you're saying is you're hopeful that they do that so you don't have to walk as far.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's kind of my thing about it is that I would like everything to be in one place for those kinds of events. But I also get why, like you said, there is the charm of like hitting all the different countries and all that. But I just feel like, I don't know. I feel like they could change it up. Like I think, one of the things about having that flex space is it gives them the ability to change things that have become just habit, right?
Sure. Well, and if you look in the past, right, like they had like a thing, they had like a chocolate studio thing. They had, they used to do in the Wonders of Life Pavilion a lot. They had a festival center there. So they had like a wine shop. They had craft beer. They had, events. They had, different paid events. I mean, I could see them doing like special paid events in that area as well. Because they could do, things you got to buy tickets for and go check out, on a paid basis. So I don't know I'll be interested to see. It's a good question though, because I think there's a lot of things they can do with that space. And obviously they built it for that purpose, right? They built it to be a permanent, flex space for these events. So, I'm just assuming there's going to be a lot of things that are coming in and out of there, as the festival goes on. So
yeah.
So that's a good question. I like Dan's question though too. So, and this is from Dan. I think it's Dan H. I forget all the Dans. Yeah, it's from Dan. I like how they're fighting, all fighting over the backpack situation. That was pretty funny.
There can only be one.
There can only be one. Yeah. So you guys fight it out, and then we'll see where we end up. So Dan says, "How would you schedule your multipass for your first trip using the new system? Would you aim to park hop or stay in one park?" This is a good question. I don't know about you, Trevor. I haven't given it that much thought yet of how I would use it. I know typically in the past, and especially since the rides are tiered again, right? So you got to pick, you have to prioritize, right?
So yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is because of the tiering, you get one, you have to pick one of the tier 1 rides, like whatever your must-do ride is, right?
Exactly.
So I mean, that becomes, the bigger your group is, that obviously becomes a hard conversation because not everyone's going to agree on everything. But maybe that's also where, if you're planning out, maybe it's you split into 2 groups or you get the top 2 and 50-50 it or whatever. So the tier 1 stuff is kind of interesting that way. But then,
like, Magic Kingdom is a tough choice, though, right? Like, it's, your brain says do Peter Pan because that's going to have the longest line. But no, I mean, if you want to do Peter Pan, I'm like saying if Peter Pan's important to you, then you would do that. Like, I would never do a tier 1 for Big Thunder, even though it's my favorite ride, because you can get fairly short standby times on that ride sometimes, right? So,
it's true.
Yeah, so like I would do it for like Peter Pan, that's always a 45-minute plus wait, or Jungle Cruise, that's always a 45-minute plus wait, or I guess Tiana too, because that's going to be long waits for quite a while now too. So, like you said, it's whatever your priority is for tier 1, right? If you're a big Peter Pan person, then that's probably the one to go with. But
like the ride's, it's a waste, I feel like.
The Peter Pan ride?
I mean, to use it on that.
Yeah. I mean, but some people have to feel like
you got younger kids, I guess it's a different story.
My daughter loves that ride, yeah.
Yeah, like I said, I think it does depend on your party and kind of splitting.
I don't think I've been on that ride in a while, like, because it is busy and it's like, do I really need to go on that? I really don't. So
that one's a nostalgia one, I think, for a lot of people. It
definitely is, but like even nostalgia has its limits, right? I'm kind of like, it's a ride that has a pretty decent wait. So
it does. Yeah.
I'm just not about it. No one's like all hyped up, like, oh, let's go wait for 40 minutes for Peter Pan. Like, no one's really hyped.
Honestly, I don't think I'd ever wait standby for Peter Pan more than 30 minutes. Like that's probably the limit. Like Jungle Cruise, I'd probably wait more than 30 minutes.
Yeah, Jungle Cruise.
I mean, Big Thunder, I would,
I mean, if you really were wanting to ride Peter Pan, like you said, I would not use the multi-pass on it. I would wait actually till fireworks, because like
that's a good call.
Evening time is really like Fantasyland empties out, and you could get on there probably less than 30 minutes. So yeah, so yeah, I guess like we're thinking about Magic Kingdom, but
let's do park by park. Let's do park by park.
Would you
do that?
Yeah, well, would you park hop it is the thing. Like, I guess this is the hard part, is that I feel like with the fact that it's tiered, I don't know that I would necessarily park hop.
It's a good.
Right?
I found myself not park hopping lately. Like that's not been something we've been doing a lot lately. Even though we bought park hoppers last time, we didn't use them at all.
You see, we did. So on our last trip, like we did. We found like both Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom. We weren't there for the entire day, and we did end up going back to Epcot both those days. So, I guess Magic Kingdom, I would not park hop because I feel like there's enough to do there with the multi-pass. But the other parks, I guess it's up for debate. Depends
I have to park hop. My kids get too bored. As they're older, they're just or if they want to do something themselves at night, like if we go to a park during the day and they want to go somewhere at night, they don't want to go back to the same park for sure.
Well, and that's why we had bought park hoppers this time, right? So we were supposed to have my in-laws on the trip with us, and the plan was, we get the kids back to the hotel, they go to sleep at 7:00, the grandparents watch the kids, we go back out to the parks, we go to whichever park we want, and most of the time we were going to probably go to like an Epcot or to Magic Kingdom, just to do the night stuff there. But that didn't work out because my in-laws ended up not coming with us. So we ended up buying park hoppers and then just not using them. Although I take that back, because we did use it on the very last day that we were there. And I'm sure, I don't know if everybody else does this, but we always use our last day as a, what do you still want to do, or what do you want to do again before we
redo stuff? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Kind of thing. And so that's what we always do there. But I kind of want to go through each one of the parks and be like, these are the ones I would do with my 3 ahead. So,
all right. Yeah. Let's all pick our tier 1, I guess. And
for Magic Kingdom. Yeah. So it's Big Thunder, Jungle Cruise, Peter Pan, Space Mountain, Tiana. Now, note that Seven Dwarfs and Tron are separate purchase, so you can purchase those individually. So that one, they are not tier 1.
Seven Dwarf. Okay, yeah, I would. I would not pay money for that for an individual.
I really like Seven Dwarfs, but like I would probably not pay for it. No.
I mean, with Tron being right there, I would not pay for Seven Dwarfs.
Yeah.
So okay, my pick for tier 1 is Space Mountain.
I think I go Jungle Cruise here. Sorry, did you have more there on Space Mountain? Good.
Well, I just feel like it's the Space Mountain is always habitually the longest wait, which, yeah, I know Jungle Cruise gets up there too, but I feel like Space Mountain, no matter the time of day, is the hardest one to get.
Well, and plus it breaks down all the time. So
yeah,
you always have that problem. Yeah, I think I go Jungle Cruise with this. I think now I can't remember the last time I've been to the parks where Jungle Cruise was not like a 45 to 60 minute wait.
Yeah, it always is.
It is, right? And it's a tough line to sit in too. It's just, yeah, that's what I would go with.
Okay,
I could see that.
Yeah, but and then Damon, I don't know if you want to do a tier 1. Play this game.
I feel like you do Tiana's just to
it's new.
I feel like you'd have to do Tiana's because it's new. I don't know if there's another option because that's going to be packed.
Yeah, it's gonna. And
the thing is I like to use those for rides that like they're not worth the wait, but you got to go on them anyway. And I feel like Tiana's is 100% that.
I feel like Jungle
it will be
Cruise
okay.
is kind of that too. Actually,
Jungle Cruise can kind of be like that. Yeah. I mean, it's not worth the wait, but you have to do it.
Yeah.
Then let me not want to wait, right?
Yeah. No, I doing like a 10 a.m. Tiana's, and I don't like that either.
Why? Because it's. I mean, but it's like 90 degrees at 10 a.m. right now in Florida. So
it's
now
so hot.
Yeah, it's so hot,
dude. It is so hot.
Okay, fair.
I went out recently. What was it, Tom? It was like 106 or something?
Yeah, the heat index here yesterday was 109.
Yeah.
So
I went outside. Like we played tennis, and it was like I was tired for a day and a half. Like I don't even know what happened. I was like,
dude, the sun drains you.
For
the sun drains you.
It wasn't even like we were playing at like 10 in the morning, and I was like, I came home, and that whole day is just like a wash. And then even the next day, I woke up. I was like, wow, I'm still tired from tennis. Yesterday at 10 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, it's hot.
Well, you'll this is a side note, but so we have a community pool, right? And so we go to the community pool usually when it's hot. Well, the day before 4th of July, somebody brought into the pool a pair of scuba goggles that had glass in them, and the glass broke. So then they had
that.
I don't know. I didn't even know they made scuba goggles with glass in them. I thought everything was plastic, but
you can get prescription ones.
I guess, yeah. But I guess they didn't know it was glass. But the pool has been shut down ever since, and it's been, like you said, Damon, almost 100 degrees, and everyone in the neighborhood's losing their minds because everyone wants to go to the pool because it's so hot, but it's closed. So because they got to drain it, they got to clean it, they got to refill it. It's just a whole thing. So
we don't even have a community pool, which is brutal.
Yeah.
I think everyone in our neighborhood has a pool because we're a foo-foo neighborhood, right? Like everyone's got their own pool, but like we were just like, man, my kids are old. Like there was about a week that we're like, oh, let's get a pool. And then everyone was like, well, who's taking care of it? And, they all did the Spider-Man thing. And no one wanted to take care of it. No one wanted to check it. No one wanted to do any of that. So we're just like, oh, we're out. But now, like this week, everyone's like, yo, where's our pool? And I'm like, there is no pool.
There's no pool.
And better go play water guns or something.
Yeah. A lake community. You can go swimming in the lake.
I would never swim in a lake. Ever. Lakes are gross.
Fine.
There's no lake that's not gross. All lakes are gross. Sorry.
Damon, you're afraid probably of brain-eating amoebas.
I am. Amoebas are out, and all lakes are gross. So
it's too cold for that up here. That's the big difference.
That's true. It doesn't have to be warm water.
Yeah, you just get gross.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry, that's a side note.
All right, so back to this. Okay,
I'm definitely getting lake hate coming.
So second tier for Magic Kingdom, I probably go Haunted Mansion. And then just because of my daughter, I would probably go Winnie the Pooh because she loves Winnie the Pooh. So, and I feel like the rest of the things on here usually don't get that long of a line, or the line moves pretty quickly. So that's probably the ones I do.
I mean, my family, it's Haunted Mansions Pirates all day long.
Yeah, I figured, yeah.
Yeah,
that makes sense. All right, so unless Damon wants to continue playing this game, we can.
No, I'm not playing this game because it's going to be 3 hours before you guys are done.
No, we're going to go quickly.
Right. Yeah.
So Epcot, you have Frozen Ever After, Remy, or Soarin' Around the World as tier 1. Guardians of the Galaxy is separate purchase.
Yeah, I don't like any of those.
Wow.
I mean, I know.
You don't like Soarin'?
It's not my favorite. I'll be honest. As far as Epcot rides go, I'm not like hard up to go ride Soarin'. So I guess I guess I could do Soarin', or it would be a toss up between Soarin' and Ratatouille.
Well, let's pretend that Test Track is back. Okay, let's pretend Test Track is back.
Well, then Test Track.
Yeah, so Test Track's probably your number one, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I probably go Frozen just because.
Depends how it comes back, though.
What?
I mean, isn't there like a?
Could it be worse than what it was right now?
No.
I mean, everything
no,
always be worse.
Yeah. I've seen worse.
What if Test Track was Mickey and Minnie Racers based on the video game? We just didn't know.
Or if they brought back Superstar Limo as
no, why would they do that?
No, I think Mickey and Minnie's cartoon racers would be the best, though.
Racing the Roadsters show.
Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah.
They're still calling it Test Track, though. So
yeah, no, I'm just thinking that would be fun.
Well, the problem with Epcot too is that once you're past tier 1, it's like, what else are you going to do, right? Like, you're not going to do this short film festival. You're probably not going to do Figment. You're not going to do Mission Space. You don't need to do Seas of Nemo Friends. Spaceship Earth.
Do Living with the Land.
Yeah, but that usually doesn't have a long line. I mean, sometimes it does, but
it's still fast pass it. I don't care. I mean, if I was paying for a multi-pass, I would fast pass Living with the Land.
It's a fair point. All right, so Hollywood Studios, Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, Millennium Falcon, Smuggler's Run, Rock and Roller Coaster, or Slinky Dog Dash, and Star Wars Rise of the Resistance is the one that you have to pay extra for.
I think I would actually do Mickey and Minnie's.
Yeah, that would be my choice as well. Yeah. It's probably my daughter's favorite ride at Disney.
I'd have to come on and say that the same.
Yeah.
I think that is the ride to pick right now for that.
Yeah. Unless you're a big Slinky Dog fan, which, some people are. And I guess Rock and Roller Coaster too. A lot of people love Rock and Roller Coaster.
Slinky Dog is not even worth the time.
Well, that's why you
Rock and Roller Coaster way better, man.
We did it, and it was not like my son was like, like that.
I don't need to ride it again. I don't think. I think I rode it like a few times, and if I never rode that again, like, what am I missing?
Yeah, and Rock and Roller Coaster's pretty easy to like. I could do standby for that. I don't need to.
They have single rider too, I think, right? You can bust through on single rider on that one too, I think. I think they have in the past. I don't know if they always do, but
if there is, I mean, say exactly, yeah. I'd have no problem doing single rider for that. And then what's tier 2? Like, I think the only rides left are Star Tours and Tower of Terror.
Or Toy Story Mania. I would probably do Toy Story Mania as one.
I would do Tower of Terror.
But. Yeah, I could see that. I mean, Star Tours is another one of those that can have like an hour wait and then, a couple hours later have like a 10-minute wait. So you never know, because they can move a lot of people through that thing. So actually, I might do Alien Swirling Saucers. My daughter loves that ride. So it is fun. I mean, it's a fun ride. It's like the Whip. It's good.
That's not a bad choice.
Yeah. It's a good time. All right, and then Animal Kingdom has no tiers, so we would probably end up doing Kilimanjaro Safari, and I guess maybe Navi River Journey. I've only done Navi River Journey once, but I think my daughter would like it. But yeah, I mean, that's
good. It's better than that other garbage Avatar ride.
It's so weird that you have that opinion. It's just so funny.
Yeah. But I would do Everest for a multi-pass.
Well, let's go back now and actually think about this. You get GTX 4090 versus what that screen's putting out, and I'm telling you, your home computer looks better. That's it. There's no discrepancy now. There's no doubt in my mind. A brand new graphics card, brand new computer looks better than what you're seeing on that ride.
Yeah, I mean, technology-wise, it has advanced. We have advanced past that, absolutely.
That's what I'm saying. So that ride was just a misstep for me.
Well, but you're talking now. The ride now is...
When it came out, it was about the same, I felt like. Now it's just been surpassed.
I think for
a couple grand.
I always thought the graphics on it were pretty good. So I never thought that was an issue, but...
But you're not a computer graphics guy. Like, you don't.
It's not even that. I go on the ride and I enjoy the ride. It feels real to me. It's not. It's not. I'm sitting there looking and going, "Oh, that could be a little bit better."
$2,000. I get better than that.
You're not getting a bike that has like.
You're not getting the bike. I agree with that.
Feeling on it, or
but it's the whole experience.
It is. Yeah, there is more to it than just the screen.
I feel like as the ride continues to get older and older and older, it's just a ride that just is not holding up in terms of technology wise. Like I feel like it was a little bit of a misstep.
It is definitely. It's going to hit that problem. You're exactly right, Damon, that the ride, because it was built with certain technology at a certain time, it's not going to be timeless like a lot of other Disney rides.
And it's expensive. So then what happens? I mean, I guess people still go on it, but you get what I'm saying. Like, it's just not pushing any boundaries. I feel like there was definitely a ride there that could have been a little bit better.
The weird thing about Pandora as a whole is, I feel like they're trying to push it back on us with sequel movies, right? But it wasn't a big, like, I know Avatar made a lot of money because a lot of people went for the spectacle of it, but it does not have the same staying power as a lot of other IPs in Disney. And I feel like it's going to hit a point where people are going to be like, what is this? What is Pandora? Like it, because even as it is, it was like, they released that second movie. I didn't hear hardly anything about it after it came out.
It made more than $1 billion, though.
It did.
Again, it's great. Great. They've got a great engine around hyping these.
And it's
movies
a slice of time.
Yeah.
$1 billion is a slice of time. It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, the point is it doesn't feel like Avatar has. To me, it doesn't feel like it's going to stick the same way that like a Star Wars or Harry Potter is another example where it was a phenomenon.
But pulls out Universal stuff for
I know
that's my favorite.
But it's the reason that they do these things in parks is because they are big IPs. But it feels Avatar feels weird in that way.
I agree with you. It's built on a technology that's a slice of time, which is exactly how I feel about the ride.
That's how everything is, though. I mean, you can't.
No, it's not. That's the whole thing.
Is.
Fraggle Rock. Okay, I'm going to say Fraggle Rock. What's Fraggle Rock built? Is it built on technology and a slice of time? No.
No, but you're talking about you're talking about the ride. It's an extraordinarily highly technical. You're talking about the movie?
The IP first. That's what we're referring to. We're talking about the IP. The IP is a slice of time for $1 billion that's based on technology. I mean, the hype around Avatar was technology. Technology can get to the point where it's irrelevant, right? Everything's going to look perfect. We're going to get there.
Well, listen, I also I would say that I don't care that much about IP if I enjoy a ride, right? Like, I've never seen an Avatar movie, but I still enjoy Flight of Passage, right? Like, and I'm sure if I went to Harry Potter stuff, I don't care about Harry Potter, but I'd still enjoy it. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like I need to know the IP in and out to enjoy something. Would I enjoy it more if I was into it? Maybe, but for me, if it's a fun ride, it's a fun ride. Like, that's at the end of the day for me.
That's fair. But like I said, to Damon's point is that, the reason that these things stay in the park, though, like to me, it feels weird that like everything else in Disney kind of clicks with IPs, and then there's Pandora, right? Like, it just doesn't click for me.
I agree. I never thought it should have been Animal Kingdom anyway, but
yeah. All right. Well,
anyway, that was an aside because we were talking about multi-passes, and this went way longer than we thought it would.
Honestly, I did not expect. I would totally agree with you if the last movie had done as well as it had done. I thought maybe that one was going to falter after being such a big gap between the last movie and this one, and then.
But you can say that with anything. Like, so a popular song, right, can be top Billboard, but have no nostalgia factor, and you don't ever go back and listen to it again. And that's what Avatar feels like. Of course, it did awesome when it came out, but that was based on that time and technology and things like that. I just don't think it holds up well, and I think it was just a bad decision.
It's flash in the pan.
Yes, thank you.
Like, it's the difference between Frozen was not a flash in the pan. Frozen is a thing, right? It evolved over time. The reason that we're talking about Avatar is because we're going, what is like I don't even get what else there is about it. Like, there's 2 movies and there's a theme park. What else is there?
There's no song. There's no actors, actresses that like. There's not a lot to kind of.
I mean,
you don't see kids with Avatar lunchboxes.
Right? I listen.
$1 billion or not.
Yeah, I get what you guys are saying, but I almost feel like we're thinking about this in our own little bubble of we don't care about Avatar, because I know some people that know the Na'vi language. Like I've had some friends that are very into it. And
I don't know if that's something I would even be saying out loud.
I'm just saying, I know I have some friends that are very into it, that like probably went and saw the new movie like 4 times. They do exist, but
sure,
I get what you're saying. They don't
there's
exist.
not as much of them. Anyway. But I think Trevor hit it perfectly right. Like, you'll see a lot of lunchboxes out there, but I doubt you're seeing too many Avatar.
No, you're probably right.
And I think that's the other thing too. It's also not catering to Disney's actual audience. That's what I feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I said, it feels tacked on. But so
Yep.
so yeah, don't waste your multi-pass on Navi River Journey for that reason.
I mean, I like that ride. Don't waste it on Flight of Passage.
I don't think it's a waste on Flight of Passage.
Well, no, we were talking about the multi-pass. Flight of Passage, you got to pay for a single lane.
Ridiculous. It's such a garbage ride.
All right. But you're the only one that has that opinion.
That's not true.
Like, that
a
ride
lot
is,
of people have that opinion.
That ride
they don't exist in our little circle.
Okay, so none of the listeners of the show have that opinion, but
I'm sure listeners of the show have that opinion.
I mean, I'm sure some do, yeah. But I mean, that ride has all kinds of accolades. A lot of people love that ride that are not even Disney people. Like, my sister's not a Disney person; she loves that ride. So
when did she go on it?
What?
When's the last time she went on it?
Last time she was at Disney. So, I mean,
does she have an Avatar lunchbox?
No, she doesn't.
Then point proven. Okay,
but it does, again, the IP doesn't matter. I feel like,
Tom, you are right. You know, my parents went on it. They thought it was an awesome ride, and yeah, same thing. They don't care about Avatar or anything, but you know, the ride itself. You know, I see your point, Damon, that it's like, you know, the screen thing can be off-putting, but you know, this goes back to Disney kind of does a good job of like, it's not just, there's not just one aspect to the ride. Like, there is actually a lot more to it that, yes, you could watch the video at home in higher fidelity than the screens they have there, but there's other aspects of the ride that you're not going to get at home because we're not paying, you know, $12,000 for a customized bike thing that sprays water in your face while you're riding it, right?
But that stuff is also upgradable though, too, right? Like, they could refurb the ride and put in, you know, better graphics, and I mean, they can do that all the time, you know.
They could, but it's always behind the eight ball is the problem, because
it's
the Yeti.
It's
the Yeti all over.
Well, that's, I mean, they actually said this in the Imagineering story, where it's like, when they're building a ride, like, typically from the time they start designing it to when it actually goes into, you know, the park is like 4 years, right? So, like, they're designing it with 4-year-old technology always.
And I think somebody should have then been like, wait a second, you know, graphics get better so much quicker than 4 years. Like, what are we doing here? Somebody
stop using screens.
Using screens.
Yep. The screens are limiting, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They really are. But all right, let's do this last one.
That's all you.
Yeah, I know. So Laura says, tips, tricks, suggestions for toddlers / young kids at Disneyland. Okay, so I guess the biggest thing for young kids in Disneyland, the two places that you'll probably spend the most amount of time are Fantasyland and Toontown. Note that Toontown recently had a refurb. I have not been there since the refurb, so I don't know, or I can't give you a lot of extended information on that. For Fantasyland, though, when you are there, it's a lot more condensed than Disney World if you've been to Disney World. So you will find that it is easier to get around, but also be prepared. Don't go in there with the huge stroller, because in Disneyland, they do not have as much space as they do at Disney World. And if you're coming in with the double stroller or anything, you're going to have a bad time. So keep that in mind. Try and remember that it is a smaller space. But yeah, really, I guess for younger kids, like I said, I feel like a lot of the focus is in Fantasyland because there's a lot of dark rides there that kids tend to enjoy. But I guess also your kids, because some of the dark rides can scare kids as well. But like I said, between Fantasyland and Toontown, those are probably your biggest. Like, try and get stuff done there, and it does follow similar rules to Disney World. And we talked about Peter Pan. The Disneyland Peter Pan is better, for those that know. It's not a discussion. And yeah, you got a rope drop. Like that's the reality, is that if you want to do certain things with your kids, be prepared to get them up early, and also don't try and run them to the end of the day either. These are just general rules for traveling with your kids. Is don't plan to have them out and about for 12 hours straight. Or if you do, make sure that you've got plans to nap with them somewhere. Whether it's take them back to the room or let them nap in the stroller or whatever. Yeah, but yeah, I think that's the big thing is really just focus your time on Fantasyland and Toontown with your young kids, and then in California Adventure, I mean, Pixar Pier is really where you're going to want to be as well. Like that's a lot of the rides that are more targeted towards younger kids, because it doesn't have like a Toontown the same way that they do in Disneyland proper. So I guess that's my only thing with California Adventures. I feel like if you have young kids and you only had one day to pick between the two, I would go to Disneyland before I go to California Adventure, because I don't feel like there is enough there for younger kids.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, hopefully that hopefully that helps you with with your young kids in Disneyland.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about, I wasn't sure if we should talk about this one or not, but I think it's an interesting conversation. So there's a new law in Florida that DVC owners can be evicted from the hotel, which has actually been a problem in the past because Disney has had unruly DVC members and can't really do a whole lot with them because they technically are owners. And that there was an incident that happened with this pretty recently where they tried to had an unruly guest and they couldn't get rid of him from the resort because he was a DVC owner. But now they can.
That's yeah. I guess I never thought of it that way. I've never had that sense of entitlement that yes, technically I'm an owner as well, but I would never go onto a property and be like, you can't tell me what to do. I
own here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that behavior in and of itself, is very sad. And, hopefully, of
course,
I'm glad that, this, if there was an incident, somebody did get evicted because of this. Sorry, it serves you right for being that kind of person. Don't be that person.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess so. How does this work exactly? Is it just that I'm reading this article, and I guess correct me if I'm wrong on this, but if it kind of gives them the same power as if it was just a regular customer.
Guest. Yeah, just like a regular hotel guest. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're overly drunk or being just generally unpleasant to people.
Generally unpleasant. I like that.
We'll leave it at that. Because they have a list of things here. I'm reading some of these things. I'm not going to read through them all, but basically they're saying, if you're being not a nice person, they reserve the right to evict you from the premises, which I guess it makes sense that they would have to have specific legislation around this. Cause like you said, because it's an owner thing, saying, I own this property, you can't do anything to me about it. This gives Disney the control to say, you may be an owner here, but we still reserve the right to not have you on our property if you're going to be like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I'm all for anything that allows Disney to make decisions like that, because you shouldn't just be able to be unruly and awful to other guests and then, without any sort of consequences, right?
Yeah. So. I noticed that, sorry, the one thing on here that stands out to me is they said it fails to check out by the agreed upon time.
Yeah.
That was
kind of
people
funny.
Really doing that?
Are they squatting on on DVC rooms?
You can't make me leave. I own here. Okay. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, I would assume it's happened before if it's showing up in here, right?
That's kind of cringy though if you're doing that.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't like the entitlement of the DVC owner that's just like, I'm a DVC owner, I can do whatever I want. That's not how things work.
No, you can't. You're still in somebody else's house. It's like a timeshare. Even with a timeshare, you still have to abide by rules of the company that you're doing the timeshare through. So, it's not yours.
Yeah, and truthfully, you own like a doorknob in that resort. Yeah. Okay, you don't own much more than that. Even if you have hundreds and hundreds of points, you don't own a lot of that resort.
Yeah, I think it works out to technically you have 3 feet of space that is technically yours somewhere in the resort.
Nice. So go stand in that corner.
Yeah. Go stand in your corner.
Go stand in your corner until okay. But anyway, so this last thing before we do our ad here, actually, let's go do our ad and then we'll talk about Country Bear. Because I want to talk about this really quick because I'm baffled by this.
Okay, this week we have DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company that is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2023, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com/welcome home or call 1-844-DVC-PROS, that's 382-7767. And when you speak to them, be sure to let them know the Welcome Home sent you.
All right. Thank you, Trevor. So Country Bears is coming back soon here, right?
Yep.
And which is great. I love Country Bears. It's great. So July 17th, it's going to be reopening. But for D23 members, they're doing, and actually this is happening tomorrow. If you're listening to this right now, this is happening today. So that's when the tickets go on sale. But D23 Gold members will be able to buy a $49 ticket to be amongst the first people to experience this new show. And that to me is kind of crazy.
That's steep.
Yeah, I'm just like, I love Country Bears, but like, why am I gonna do that? Like, I could just go. I could go to the show like a couple weeks later. Like, yeah.
So okay, this is what you're getting if you buy this ticket. So admission to the Magic Kingdom Park at check-in for the event. Admission is valid only for entry immediately following the check-in for the specified showtime. So you don't even get you don't have, or I guess
that's a pretty good deal though. $49 for
So it's just for this. So it's not part of a regular park ticket, but it's nice that they're not making you do this on top of a park ticket. So that's
true.
Okay. Yeah. Private preview showing of the Country Bear Jamboree, a commemorative print. And then pre-show discussion with the Walt Disney Archives and Walt Disney Imagineering. So that
might be worth it.
Yeah, that's the part to me that seems that's the sell here more than the actual show. Is you get to watch the new show obviously, but being able to listen to Imagineering's thought process and to talk to people from the archives, that's to me the price of admission, right? Like that's what you're paying for, right? I would go to that just to do that, but just to see the new show, no. Yeah. I'm not that hard up to go watch Country Bears. I do find it cute that they named the show times after the sunbonnets. Yeah, that's pretty funny. Yeah. I'll be interested though. I somebody had posted this in one of either our group or the Discord. I don't remember which. So I don't know if somebody's planning on doing this, but if you are, let us know. I would be interested to hear how it goes. But I just think this is interesting because I feel like I don't remember them doing this before, where they had a paid member event for the opening of a new ride. And it's not, when I say member, I mean D23 member, not DVC member. I should draw a line between those two. But it's just interesting to me that they're doing that. I'm not against it, I guess, if you want to do it. I just don't know if I would pay $49 plus the $7 processing fee, so $56 a pop. That just feels like a lot. Yeah. It's an interesting idea. Yeah. I mean, I guess I think about because they used to do like lunch things with Imagineers and stuff. Yeah. Right? I guess this is kind of on par with that, but I guess for a lunch, or I guess you're still paying per person. So yeah. Okay. It's not any different. I accidentally had lunch with an Imagineer, a former Imagineer, when I did Keys to the Kingdom. We sat down for lunch and we just happened to sit down at a table with a guy and he's like, oh yeah, I worked on I think it was Tokyo Disney. And he was like, yeah, I used to be Imagineer and used to do this. I mean, who knows? He might've been full of it, but, but he seemed to know a lot for somebody that, just some random guy at a table. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, I believed him. So anyway, yeah.
let's talk about Eat to the Beat. I always enjoy that. So my wife saw this list of acts that are going to be at Food and Wine.
Yeah.
And she got very excited, actually.
Yeah.
We're not going.
My wife read these off to me too. And I realized that we are old.
Yes, we've gotten old. Yes.
Because when I know the vast majority of the bands that are playing at an Epcot festival, like, yeah.
Yep.
Which, I mean, to be fair, this is a good lineup.
I mean, it really is. So my wife was like, I'm so mad that we're not going. But I mean, I was like, which one would you go for? Because, you're talking, they've got the Fray, Sugar Ray, Hoobastank, Yellow Card.
Yellow Card. Yeah,
really? Yellow Card? Wow. Yeah. Okay. Tiffany, Mercy Me, Sheila E., The Wanted. I don't know who The Wanted is. Luis Figueroa. Was that Mao E. Ricky? Jesse and Joy, don't know who that is. Joey Fatone and Friends.
Yeah.
Okay, we know who Joey Fatone is. We the Kings, I don't know who that is. Switchfoot, I know who Switchfoot is. David Archuleta, was that guy on, like, was he American Idol?
I don't know who that is.
I've heard the name before.
Yeah. Hanson's a surprising one too. But I've been seeing, like, Hanson seems to be making a bit of a comeback because I've been seeing, like, YouTube shorts of them and stuff for a bit now.
No, yeah, for sure. And that's that's an interesting one. That was the one I think that my wife was like, oh, I would love to see Hanson, right? Because like that was a big thing, obviously, when she was, she was of that age when they were big. So
yeah.
Let's see.
Boys to Men.
Yep. So there's Boys to Men. Also, Smash Mouth and 98 Degrees, which, my wife was also excited about the 98 Degrees. 98 Degrees is actually ending the festival. So, I mean, I guess what else is Nick Lachey doing? But yeah, it's a kind of a pretty good lineup this year. I feel like I know way more of the bands than I used to know.
Yeah,
I didn't know Smash Mouth are still around. I thought their lead singer passed away, didn't he?
He did, but most of the band has been replaced at this point.
Oh, okay. So it's one of those bands where like nobody original is left in it.
I think the only original member is like the guitarist or something like that.
Jeez. Okay. Well, that's interesting. So, I mean, listen, I think this is a pretty good list, and I'm still surprised that Boyz II Men does this because I feel like you could still. I think my wife saw Boyz II Men in like an arena just a couple years ago. Like they're not that irrelevant at this point, Yeah,
but I feel like maybe we've said this before. Is them getting these bands to come and play. Disney's obviously offering them something. When they're being paid, but two, I'm sure a lot of people are all these bands are going. I get to, play for, 2 days or whatever. And, maybe they're working it into a larger vacation for themselves. Like, maybe it works out that's like, hey, I come play for 2 days, but then, maybe Disney's giving them, free hotel for a week or
free
something.
Free food, free hotel, free admission. Yeah. It's like a little vacation, free vacation.
I guess, if I had a band or, if Disney was, approaching me with, hey, do you want to play at this thing? I'd be like, yeah, here are my terms, right? I'll do this, but I basically want a vacation out of it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or, obviously they're probably getting paid, they're getting paid either way. So like you said, somebody like Boyz II Men, they're probably just working this into their schedule with, whatever other touring they're doing.
Yeah.
So yeah,
that's true.
Why not? Yeah. Right.
All right, so let's do this. Let's do this patent thing because I want to make a bold prediction. I want to recklessly speculate because Disney just filed a permit for what they're calling here a next generation boat ride. Boat rides typically you're just
so terrible.
Why so terrible?
I mean, it's nothing.
What do you mean?
It's a nothing burger.
How is it nothing?
Dude, it's turning a log flume.
Yeah, okay. That's a thing you can't do now.
Yeah, but it's nothing. Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Tom. You make your reckless speculation about something that is very nothing burger.
No, but I mean, I don't understand why you're saying that, because the last
Dude,
time
it's not changing anything really. Like, so you're pointing somewhere different. Okay, you can make tighter turns.
yeah,
And-
that's a big thing.
okay.
You
Go
can't
ahead.
do that with
Sure.
water rides.
Okay, go ahead, Tom.
Okay. Are you impressed by anything anymore, David?
I am, but not this. That's for sure.
All right.
The dome was cool. Like, give
Well,
me
yeah,
the dome.
that's-
What happened to that?
That's
Dome's
that's what
not
I'm saying.
impressive. It's just another screen.
Yeah, why is that impressive to you and this isn't?
The dome in my
just a dome.
I envision the dome as the thing like in Las Vegas with a boat in the middle of it that's just floating along like it feels like it's
But
in the middle of the ocean.
That's going to be,
impressive.
but you combine
Because
that.
the dome
with
was
this.
impressive in Las Vegas.
That's what my point is though here, that they're quoting Moana for both of these things.
Sure,
Like-
but the little turning of the boat for the log flume isn't as impressive as the dome for me. What's up?
I mean,
this is turning a log flume. Okay, dude. They even say in there that it's like it's low tech.
it is. It's very low tech. Yeah,
That's what I'm saying. So like, it's nothing.
yeah. It's more about like what they could do with it. I mean, and that's kind of what I'm looking at it as. But
I mean,
and
this low tech might be like 16 billion. So you never know.
16 billion. Well, what I'm saying is because they're quoting both, they have Moana in both of these with the giant screen that you're talking about, Damon, as
Mhm.
well as these the potential that they can move the boat in different ways. I mean, I think they're going to announce a Moana boat ride at D23. Like, I think it's going to happen. I don't know
think
where.
they might as well, but I
Yeah.
just don't think the two patents together are what they're saying. I mean, it could be one or the other, or it could be two different rides, but I don't think the patents mesh. One's a
Why
log
not?
flume, and one's a dome, a free floating dome.
But no, but that's what you can do with the log flume patent. It's you can move the boat off of a track. Basically, you can make it so it can go anywhere essentially. So that's what you're talking about here. You can turn the boat. They're
That's
describing
not what
it
this
as
patent says. The first patent outside of the dome is just
Turns,
being able
yeah.
to turn it
Yeah.
in a track still.
yeah.
And I feel like the dome is outside of a track. So I feel like we're talking about two separate things here.
No, but like, what if you come up to the dome and then the boat turns for you to face the dome? You know what I mean? Like,
But I think you're in the dome. Yeah, I don't.
This is a combination of a trackless ride system, and so utilizing stuff like they've done in Ratatouille and Mickey and Minnie's in conjunction with a water ride, which, it's interesting that like I guess the part that's unique about this is that as it stands right now, log flume rides are
forward facing. Absolutely.
they're forward facing, and this will have the ability that and I'm sure this will be part of a storytelling thing that the boat will as it's moving forward, you'll turn 180 degrees so that you're or even 90 degrees so it's moving sideways or backwards, and then
I mean, you could
for them
technically
to show
spin.
off.
You could
Yeah.
spin like completely, right? Like you could like get hit by
I
a
don't-
wave and spin in a circle, right?
Yeah, I don't think Disney wants to do that because
No.
they want
No.
even though it's a water ride, they don't want people throwing up in the water.
That would be kind of cool.
But yeah, it's
yeah.
So I get it's it is low tech, but it's also I think that the thing is it's giving them more of the control that like a trackless ride system
Yes.
has on land, but on a water ride, which is cool. Like that's
I mean, it feels like the whole point of log flume is the bouncing and hitting the sides and stuff like that.
That's
like,
the point.
Yeah.
that's kind of the point.
Yeah, I mean that absolutely is. I agree with Damon there that for the amount of I've ridden
I'm
a
not
lot of
bumping
different
into the
log
back of
flumes.
the flume in front of me. It's not a log flume.
Yeah, they're just like the fact that they're free floating kind of adds to the charm of it, and the bumping around and all that.
I feel like this kind of removes that.
Well, you could still slam into the people in front of you when you're at the station, right?
Yeah, I guess.
That's usually where it
You're
happens.
kind of not. But
Yeah.
based on like what you can kind of see here, are you bumping the sides though? I mean, maybe.
I'm not sure actually. It's interesting. I'm trying to kind of understand how this patent works.
Yeah.
But it's also if you look at it now, right? They can turn these boats now, like, but it's the way that they do it on like Frozen, right? Where it's like you go into like a little channel and then it moves the boat and then it goes backwards from there. But that's what the thing that breaks all the time, right? Is moving you that.
Yeah, that's not even actually like that's going between three different channels.
Yeah.
So that's not like the boat itself rotating, or it's a big like turntable
exactly
moving the boat. This is the boat will have the ability to freely turn or not freely.
It's an omni-mover boat. It's an omni-mover boat. That's what.
Like they've announced patents like where we're walking across floors, and then we're talking about 3 wheels on a square. Like this is just not it for me, man.
I understand. I'm just saying I'm also just looking at it too. Like they put out concept art a while ago, right? For a Moana boat ride, right? Like there was concept art.
Yeah. If it's a combination of both of these, then that's a different story.
That's what I'm thinking it's going to be.
If that's the case, then then I'm excited. Because again, I'm more excited about that dome. But if you're got to get me to the dome with this turning this way, that way stuff, then sure. But
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Well, there's this piece of concept art here that's showing what looks like a big drop, like almost like a Splash Mountain kind of drop, and then you're in just like a lake, and it looks like you
turn sideways for the drop.
Oh, that'd be
that might have some interest then.
Or backwards,
so like
the drop.
Riding down a wave kind of thing.
Yeah.
That would be cool. Yeah.
So the interesting thing, though, is this concept art was a while ago, and this was what they were, proposing that maybe they were going to do with Dinoland, and we kind of know what they're going to do with Dinoland now. So the question is, where does this end up? If they're still going to do this, and I honestly think they're going to announce a Moana boat.
They have to do something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think they're going to. I just don't know where they're going to put it. I don't know if that's a Magic Kingdom
is
ride.
there Moana coming out or something?
Yeah, there's new Moana coming out in November.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now, I guess
they would have announced something earlier if that's the case, though.
Well, but I mean, D23 is next month. I mean, it's.
But that's what I'm saying, though. Like, if you announce, I guess to make the announcement with the movie. Yeah. Okay.
Well, and also, they're going to start working on a lot of this stuff. Yeah. So and also, like, let's not forget too, the first Moana movie I think was the most streamed movie of any movie last year. Like, it was.
I still haven't seen it, but yeah.
Yeah, it was. It's still a crazy popular.
It's good.
The Rock.
Yeah, it's great. I know you don't.
Regardless of The Rock, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
Like when I watch Jumanji, I'm just like, oh, The Rock's in it. Like, not like, oh, let me go watch Jumanji because The Rock's in it. Like,
you're not rewatching the Robin Williams one because that's what I'm doing.
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
I feel like there's The Rock, like even like in Jumanji, you have like Kevin Hart, like the new one and stuff like that. So I feel like it's a little bit less of The Rock. I feel like this is going to be like all Rock. And I'm just not about that.
It could be. It's a good question.
I'm talking about the first movie.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it's to me, it's like I don't know. I have Rock fatigue. I think that's like I just think he's in too much stuff. And I mean, I like The Rock when he was a wrestler. Like he was a great wrestler. He was fun. But
your opinion of The Rock has eroded.
It has. I mean, it has. I don't mind him in this though. I feel like he's good in Moana. But
yes, and he's not overbearing in Moana. Yes. Like he has his song and a couple of bits, but then it does actually focus on Moana. It doesn't focus on Maui.
Yeah, Maui's a smaller part of it. So, yeah. But listen, I think it'll be interesting, Damon, because like to your point, the dome thing. Like if they can. Because the dome thing, you're right, is like a motion simulator where it's almost like you're sitting still. But if they could make it a motion simulator that also moves and also turns, and then you're going through this dome like that, I mean, that could be really cool. I guess we're going to find out, though. I really don't know. I'm just guessing. But
it is cool. I just worry. So having somebody in my family who is very susceptible to motion sickness and stuff.
Yeah.
As much as I love them pushing the envelope, I also don't like it when they take something like this and they make it like that not everybody can enjoy it.
I get what you're saying.
Right?
Yeah.
Like I just hope that somewhere along the way they stay cognizant of, not everybody can handle spinning or, a wave simulator inside of a ride, right?
Yeah. And I also, to your point, Damon, like it's low tech, right? But what other innovations have we had in the log flume space in the past 50 years? It's basically all the same, right? It's
to Damon's point. Yeah. We haven't needed to because people like the, it's a floating log bumping down a channel, like
bumping back and forth between the guardrails and
yeah. And that's why they tell you to keep your hands and arms inside because you don't know when the thing's going to hit the wall.
You don't. Yeah, that's a fair point. So, I think there's some cool things that can be done here, but what is going to be done? But I'm going to predict that they're doing too many Moana boat patents for there not to be. There's too much smoke there for there not to be fire. You know,
Right.
like
Yeah, that's
why?
fair.
Yeah, I mean, and I understand that it's easy. Like if you're making boat, patents that you can just keep quoting Moana because it's Moana is associated with a boat, but it just feels too coincidental to me. I think they're gonna announce something. No, I don't know where they're gonna put it. I mean, maybe it still goes in Animal Kingdom. I don't know. Maybe it still goes there.
Maybe it replaces Pandora.
It's not replacing Pandora. Pandora is still immensely popular.
I know. I'm just making.
Yeah,
making
I mean, I
fun.
just looked at the app right now to see what the flight of passage wait time was. And it was like 80 minutes. So, I mean, it's still busy, and that thing has a huge capacity too. So,
on a hot day like today too. Yeah, why would you?
you stay in the air conditioning. That's a day you wait in standby just so you can stay in the air conditioning for extra long, right? Yeah,
That's a good point. Yeah, I guess half the standby is inside on that one, isn't it?
Yeah. So I don't know what this is going to look like. I don't know what's actually going to happen. I'm just speculating. I have no actual information on this other than seeing that they've done a couple patents. That's all.
I think, and what was it that they gave it a term too, just so we can.
Did they?
Yeah, down at the bottom. Let me find it again here.
They gave it a name, like the story coaster thing.
It's called a capture pult system.
Oh, that's a different one.
Oh, that's not so. Well, then why did they reference that in this article?
Because it's a different patent that they've done.
Oh,
so they had another patent back in 2019 where they could catapult. So they created a new system that allow for basically just both stop the boat and also launch the boat. So
okay, so that would be built on top of
yes
this one.
They could technically include this. They can include that technology in there too. But listen, they patent stuff all the time, and it doesn't mean they're actually going to use it. Right. But I do think that I don't know. Like I said, there's just too many. Why would you have all these boat ride patents that you're filing if you're not designing a boat ride?
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I know Disney likes patenting stuff just in case, but yeah, there, like you said, there seems to be a lot of activity around it lately.
It does. I want to see if it'll show up at Animal Kingdom. I think that would be interesting. So
you watch; it'll be in the Beyond Big Thunder area.
I feel like that would be a weird spot for it, but
it would, because maybe. then you would have Tiana's and Moana right side. Like you would have two log flumes side by side. Which actually, the thing about that is that they could both utilize the behind the scenes systems for.
Oh yeah, they
filling and draining. So,
they,
okay,
I feel like Moana would fit in like Adventureland. Like I feel like you could put Moana in Adventureland.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like that would fit. If they and there was rumors a while ago they were going to do that. Remember we even talked that there was talk of like a Moana I feel like it was a roller coaster or something, and maybe even like a hotel. There was
I think there was rumor of a hotel or so an actual hotel like attached to Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
So
right to the edge of Magic Kingdom.
Yeah, that's insane to me. Like that doesn't seem like it'll ever happen. But
who knows?
All the Beyond Big Thunder stuff. I have to wonder. Like technically, it would make sense from a utilizing existing infrastructure standpoint to have two water rides close to one another.
Yeah. That they do like to do that, right? So
yeah.
All right. Well, the only other thing I have, guys, is some Disney Cruise Line stuff. I personally put the Disney Treasure stuff on here because I'm going on the Disney Treasure, and every time they make updates about it, I look at it and I go, "Hey, I'm going to walk on that. That's cool." Yep. So. That is still being built. It's not that far away though at this point. I mean, that's going to be December 21st is the first voyage. So, I also was enjoying everybody giving Damon a hard time about calling them boats instead of ships in the Facebook group. That made me laugh. But the other thing they put out here too is that the Disney Dream is being is being redone. And so one of the things that they're doing is updating some of the offerings there, which is, I appreciate that Disney's trying to constantly update things, which, I know most of the cruise lines do. There's a lot of competition in the cruise line industry, so they have to do these things to keep up. But One of the things they mentioned here, they're going to have revamped youth spaces. So they're going to have, like a Marvel, well, kind of a Spider-Man themed youth area, I guess, right?
Yeah, kind of following like the Avengers campus in Disneyland, which is very Spider-Man heavy.
Yeah, young recruits will be able to test new suit prototypes for Spider-Man and other heroes and conduct training simulations using web technology to fend off enemies from the workshop. Can I go in to do this? Is this age restricted? Sounds like fun, right?
Yeah, I mean, yes, but yeah, I feel like it would be, if your daughter wasn't there and you were there, they would probably start asking you some questions.
Yeah, you probably get to ask some questions. I'm halfway kidding, but kind of not.
I know I'm the same way. It's like I would love to try this stuff, but I don't have a young kid to go and try this stuff with, so I would just look like a weirdo. Creepy. Yeah. Why are you here? Well, because this is more fun than sitting on a beach chair.
yeah, exactly. I want to do Marvel stuff. Can you have an adult Marvel lounge that I can do Marvel-y things?
just bring all the fun stuff over into the adult lounge too.
Yeah, just make it. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Do that. I'd be all for that.
There's a reason a lot of I don't know if you've had these popping up in your area, but the arcade bars yeah. So people don't want to just sit in bars anymore. They want to play arcade games while they sit in the bar, and that's
Yeah, Trevor, actually, it was a couple weeks ago, I was in Asheville, North Carolina, which I don't know how familiar you are with, but one of the things they have there is they have a pinball museum. And so you go there and you pay, like $15 and then you just play unlimited pinball. Which was a lot of fun, right? Like, and they also had a bar there too. So you could, you could drink, and they cup holders on on each one of the, the pinball machines. So that was fun. Actually, I got a high score. I'd never gotten a high score before. I was very excited to put my initials into a machine,
Right.
Anyway, but I like this kind of stuff,
Yeah. Like you said, Disney does need to keep up with, keeping these ships up to date and, offering new things. And like you said, it's great that the kids spaces are being updated. Because I guess if I was on a boat with my kids, I would want to make sure that they're entertained for the duration. Right. And I know I just said boat and people are going to get mad at me for that, but
how dare you? You're not a cruise person though. So
I'm not a cruise person. So I don't know the difference between a dinghy, a boat, a ship, and I don't know what else there is.
Like you can't get criticized for that. You don't do cruises. So, that's fine. So also they're talking about the Tween Club is moving to Deck 5, and there's going to be access to an outdoor deck and a ball pit for 11 to 14-year-olds. I guess so, right?
Ball pit.
I'd rock out with a ball pit.
On it. I guess, I still think about like how much a ship moves, and I feel like a ball pit would be a bit of a pain to maintain.
But they do ice skating on these ships, it's not like, they still move, but it's like they've got them pretty stabilized at this point. But, that always blows my mind, is the whole ice skating thing. Because I'm like, really? That seems dangerous. But then they have a new suite too. This is a Fantasmic themed funnel suite. It's a 2-story suite themed to Fantasia. So, which is actually pretty cool. And there's like a really cool like Art Deco kind of thing going on. If you're super rich, then go ahead and enjoy this funnel suite, but because I will not be ever doing this.
Yeah.
As cool as it looks, it's never going to happen. So, just a couple updates on the Dream. We'll probably end up talking a little bit more about cruises. It's not like we're trying to jump into the cruise space or anything, but as Damon's going on more cruises, I'm doing 2 cruises this year. Over the next year, it'll be, we'll have more to talk about as far as cruises go, but we're definitely not trying to come for the cruise shows, the Disney cruise shows for sure. We're not experts on cruises by any means.
No, I think it's totally fair because as we started this as talking about DVC, and this is definitely within the realm of DVC because, Disney cruises are part of Disney and part of DVC. So yeah, I think it's totally fair. And I think it's good that, we we explore all the things that, you can do as part of DVC on the show. So, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Anything else you guys want to talk about?
No, I think I'm good for now because, there's not anything really to talk about yet. I feel like you said, there's D23 coming out. I'm really wondering what they're going to announce, just after looking at this patent stuff and everything. Like I'm kind of agreeing with you, Tom, that it feels like they're going to start talking about what's next, Beyond Big Thunder / Animal Kingdom expansion, whatever the next thing is. Right. So,
yeah. And truthfully, listen, my prediction here is not all that, original, considering they kind of sort of already announced the Moana boat ride with that concept art a couple of years ago. But I think it's going to be for real this time. And I think they're actually going to, it's not going to be like a concept. It's going to be, this is happening,
Yeah. I mean, that's the hard part. They keep doing Blue Sky stuff and we have no idea what's going to actually stick, right? Like there's been a lot of things that they've done Blue Sky announcements on that, things we've forgotten about. So,
well, yeah. And I think part of that, they kept doing the Blue Sky stuff because like they probably just didn't have the budget to do like what they wanted to do. So it was like, until we got money to do this stuff, we're just going to give you pieces, of what we're thinking about, but now they have, an investment
greenlit.
Yeah, exactly. They have money again to do this stuff. And so now we're really going to see it actually happening. So
yeah.
All right, let's wrap this thing up, man. I think we lost Damon somewhere along the way. I think
we did. Yeah. I know. We lost him before the cruise stuff, which
I thought he'd want to talk about the cruise stuff.
Yeah. But
what are you going to do?
Yeah, I think the water flume ride, I think was when he had to bow out. Yeah. Which we talked about at the beginning. It's fair. Damon's a busy guy. He's got lots of stuff going on in his life, so he can't always stay here till the end, which is all good. But anyway, yeah, just to start wrapping this up. If you guys have any questions for us, or you want to, share your own trip reports or whatever, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love hearing from you guys. And you can also find us on Facebook, also as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on YouTube as Welcome Home Podcast. You can find us on Instagram as Welcome Home Pics. On Facebook, there is also our group called Welcome Home Disney Waitlist, where we've referenced in the show. We talk with listeners. There's memes that go on in there. People also, they ask us questions that we talk about on the show. But then also, you've got a whole bunch of people in the group that are also very knowledgeable about the stuff. Some more knowledgeable than us. That if you want to come and join our group, please check it out. And if you want to help support the show, you can go to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and check out our shirts and mugs and all that kind of stuff. Again, it just helps keep the show running. So, if you need a shirt for your next trip, please have a look at our store. Similar on the Patreon, you can go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out our different levels of Patreon support, which again helps support the show. Our Patreon supporters also get exclusive merch that you can't get on the store. It is an exclusive logo that only our Patreon listeners get. And anyone who supports us on Patreon also gets access to the Discord server, which is yet another place that we have great discussions about the show, but also just Disney in general and, traveling and whatever else comes up. So if that seems like something you want to get into, please check out our Patreon. Last but not least, if you are listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us those 5-star reviews so that we can, maybe someday get up to that 4.7. But also, write us a review on iTunes because, we love seeing those and, we read them out on the show as we did at the beginning. And, we love hearing what you guys think about the show. So keep it coming.
Yeah, and of course, don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, YouTube Music, just about any podcast app out there you can find us. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own, so please consult a Disney cast member or a DVC cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you, as always, to our sponsor of this episode, DVC Resale Market, as well as World of DVC, for continuing to sponsor and support this show. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion, of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no